I'm really happy everyone is joining us and trickling in. I hope that you have had a wonderful Savvy Day, Solo Aging Visibility Day, however you chose to spend it. If you have spent the day in programs, fantastic. Just make sure if they were virtual, you stand up and stretch and hydrate. If they were in person, fantastic. If this is your opportunity to connect with a community on this day, that's also fantastic. It's choose your own adventure, and I'm thrilled you're here. My name is Aileen Gerhardt. I'm the founder of the Navigating Solo Network and the creator of Solo Aging Visibility Day. And I'm really happy to see all of you. I wanted to give you a sense of where people are possibly beaming in from or calling in from. You can see that we're going from the coast of California through the neighborhoods of New York, across the ocean to Austria and Great Britain and Ecuador. This is a growing, I used to say this was a national initiative. Through the impact of the internet, it's become a global initiative. And that's a really fabulous thing. Hopefully, you can see that you're not just here to be seen, you're here to lead, and that you're part of a growing network of individuals who are all choosing how they're going to craft their way of navigating life as they age on their own. So, I want us to have the opportunity to connect with each other. So the roadmap for this evening's program is I'm going to give a very brief state of the movement. I couldn't think of anything else to call it. Very brief. And then we'll have the opportunity to break out into smaller groups. I have pre-assigned the groups by geography based on what you filled out at registration. There may be registrations I didn't capture and will get you to the right group. There may be folks who haven't jumped on, and we'll figure that out as well. You'll have about 20 or 25 minutes to connect with each other. If you are somebody who's not a big fan of breakout groups and thinks, oh my goodness, that's my nightmare, even on Zoom, tough your way through it for a couple of reasons. One, if geographically you can connect with others in your area, either really in your area or close-ish by, that can be a real benefit. And you can always be a listener. So no one is going to judge anyone's participation in any way. So if that is something that isn't the first thing you'd love to do, a breakout session, I would encourage you to stick it out because I think the benefits will outweigh the cringe of not wanting to participate in it. But everyone's a grown up and they get to choose what they want to do. And then after that, we'll come back together. We'll create a chat waterfall of some feedback, and then we'll wrap up. And if there are any questions, we can certainly go through them before we wrap up. There's a lot of good stuff going on in chat. People are welcome to continue throughout, sending greetings and all of that. And I'll get started with the state of the movement. The fact that this is the third annual Solo Aging Visibility Day is quite an amazing thing, to be perfectly honest. I thought about it and thought of it in 2024, where people do most of their best thinking in the shower, and somehow had the opportunity to bring it to fruition. We this year have 23 proud ambassadors, folks who have signed on as individuals who are waving the Solo Aging Visibility flag, and another 27 businesses or organizations, local and national, who have signed on as community partners as a way to also continue the mission of increasing visibility and advocacy for solo aging. The great thing about this movement, as you well know, and being connected to solo aging programming, even if today's your first one, it's a grassroots process, right? people connect with each other, learn about different things, take the initiative, maybe to offer some things in their direct community and build community from there. The movement has really, really grown. There has been an increased visibility in press about solo agers, child-free adults, etc. There, as I mentioned, is a nice interest with folks around the world. And this year, I actually had the opportunity to receive a greeting letter from the governor and the lieutenant governor of the state of Massachusetts sending greetings on Savvy Day. And that's an advocacy move, right? That's a move that says, because that didn't happen by accident, there's a process, but it's the kind of thing where you can apply. And by doing that, it becomes part of the record of the state of Massachusetts. And the people who approved the content of the greeting letter, that wasn't the part that was the navigating solo part that I obviously provided, was the Office of Elder Affairs, which is now the Office of Aging here in Massachusetts. So those are other folks that had the opportunity to connect in with this. And so it's one example among many of ways we're able to really increase visibility and really get the recognition that everyone on the screen deserves, and everyone who's attended programs throughout the day and year and all of that deserve as well. I think everyone should feel really good about that. If you want to read the letter, it's available on the Savvy Day page on the Navigating Solo website, as well as on our social media. Or if you really want to see it directly, I'm happy to email it to you directly. And I can talk to you if you're somebody who wants to make that happen in your community in terms of getting acknowledgement from a mayor or a town council or whatever. Going forward, we can talk about that. I'm happy to be a part of that process. And there are folks on this screen who have also participated in things like that before. Judy, to answer your chat question, which just popped up, yep, today is Solo Aging Visibility Day. It's our 3rd annual. It's this Wednesday in May. May is Older Adult Awareness Month in the United States. And so I purposely chose to put Savvy Day smack in the middle of that because that seemed like a really great place for it to fit. We're certainly moving away from this notion of solo aging being a problem to solve and really a reality to support, or at least that's the way that the professionals I work with who are all solo aging and child-free champions are looking at it. This isn't a crisis. This isn't built on fear. It's built on providing real tools for people to be able to navigate in a way that's unique to them. And so change the language a little bit and have folks think about that a little differently is really important. You're all the heartbeat of this movement. It may be my Zoom account, but it's all of you who are interested in programming and taking initiative in your communities, or as business leaders or professionals wanting to engage with folks. And hopefully you feel really good about where things are. We have miles and miles and miles and miles to go. And that's an understatement, but there is more visibility. There are more people aware. Systems don't change overnight. It takes a while to chip away at them. But I really hope everyone feels really good about the opportunities to participate in community, like the various programs that were offered today, as well as throughout the year. On the Savvy Day website, you can read who our community partners and proud ambassadors are. You can participate in a visibility wall where people are signing their names to the idea of increasing visibility for solo aging. There are ways to download images that resonate with you as well. That mosaic and that visibility wall is going to be there well past Savvy Day, of course, because it speaks to the mission of everything we're doing. But you are welcome to check those things out. There is also a participation certificate. May sound a little like, whoop, we just went back to arts and crafts. But for anyone who really likes those kinds of things, there's a certificate you can download as well from the Savvy Day website on the Navigating Solo website. Before we shift to our breakout groups, does anyone have any brief comments or questions that I didn't address because I went by in chat? Andrew,
Hey,
go ahead.
I just really want to thank you for all of the amazing amount of work that you do. I am just so impressed with every time I go to the website and I see the breadth and the depth of what's going on here and that you coordinated all this. And it's just, to me, it's amazing. It's obviously a great undertaking, and you have your own life and your own business, and you're bringing this to everybody. I can't thank you enough. And I think everybody else here feels the same way. It's amazing. I applaud the work that you do, and I'm on board, as you know, to the nth degree, and I'm happy to be here. And I plan on being to a lot more Savvy Days. Again, kudos to you, and let's let the good times roll.
Thank you for that, Andrew. Andrew also represented the Navigating Solo Network and himself as part of a conference back in April through the University of California at San Diego, right?
That is correct. SEAL Gold. Council for Longevity and Planning, or longevity. Again, it's a long day.
So those are other ways local partnerships are being made to increase visibility there. And you can certainly talk to Andrew about his involvement. He's based in San Diego, California. From chatting with you, Andrew, I have the sense that you'll be happy to chat with anyone about solo aging.
Anyone and everyone. Absolutely.
Hillary, thank you.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I want to say thank you too first, a great big thank you. But my question is, when we go into breakout groups, are there specific topics or questions you want us to cover?
Yes, I have a slide I will show you, and then the facilitators in the room will also have those, and I will type them so they're available as well. I'm going to put the questions on the screen. They're pretty straightforward, so it shouldn't be the kind of thing where you really feel any pressure. And if you feel pressure, please don't. This is supposed to be a fun thing. So I appreciate the kudos. I am extremely passionate about the subject. I'm really lucky to work with really good people and people who volunteer and wave the flag, good professionals, good volunteers. It's just a reflection of you guys, actually. I will share that slide that Hillary just asked about so that we can give you the opportunity to go ahead and spend some time in those rooms together. I also dropped the questions in chat, but basically the idea, as it slowly pops up on the screen, is to really think about moments that have made you proud, things that you feel are a win. You're the only one who gets to attach metrics to that. My small and your small look totally different. If you notice, when I use the word small, I put it in quotes because, like I said, we all have subjective smalls or large or whatever. The two questions really are, what is one thing you've done recently to build your community or strengthen your plan that's made you feel a sense of pride? And what a win that you're looking forward to creating for yourself as a solo ager, as a child-free person, as someone not identifying with any of those things, because there are pros on here as well who may not identify that way, in the coming year. You are welcome to answer both of those questions or one of those questions. We'll see how full the rooms are. It looks like they will be a little bit smaller, which will give you the opportunity to have some really good conversations Is there anyone who needs me? Can I stop sharing? Because I'd rather look at you than my PowerPoint slides. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open the breakout rooms. I've asked some folks, people volunteered during registration, and I tapped some of those folks to facilitate some rooms. So hopefully I preloaded all of that based on the 125 registrants. So we'll see how that shakes out right now. Like I said, you'll have about 20 minutes and then we'll come back together. But hopefully, you will choose to join the breakout room and have the opportunity to meet other people. Like I said, if this works out, I've organized them geographically and or as close to geographically as I could. And really looking at a map, not just saying, oh, I think Minnesota is right next to Arizona. I'm going to go ahead and open the breakout rooms. There are likely folks who haven't been assigned, and I will be more than happy to help with that. When I open the rooms, you'll see a pop-up that says, I've invited you to X room, accept, and we'll go from there. Welcome back. So hopefully most of you are smiling, which makes me smile. Hopefully that was helpful. I tried anyone who was in a room talking to themselves. I moved folks around. Hopefully there were some good things discussed. Is there anything anyone wants to share that came out of the group? And if you are sharing part of the conversation, you could say someone said, not necessarily Aileen said. So just a reminder. Steve.
Yeah, so one of the things that came up in our room, which I really is a discussion of the kinds of things that we're looking for in some of the professionals that we want to get to help us, whether it's life care managers or others. I found that really useful and something that's missing. I feel like so many of the things that I go to is about issue spotting. It's not about issue solving.
Right.
Wonderful, because we started discussing I like this about that, or I'm looking for a life care manager as a social worker or a nurse or whatever. And it's that kind of conversation that I really am starving for, because the issue spotting, I've been to a lot of those,
Right.
a lot of that.
That's great feedback. And that actually, I forgot to mention that we're in the middle of doing a survey which closes next Wednesday. There are 475 responses thus far, which is really great. And some of the recurring issues, because I took a sneak peek at some of the data, are that there aren't professionals to meet the needs of solos. Systems are constructed to not recognize the unique needs of solos. And so those are some of the barriers that keep coming up. It is no surprise, but really great that you were able to have that conversation and hopefully crowdsource a little bit and see what folks have landed on that has been helpful, especially since I think almost all of you in your group were in the same area, which hopefully also
Yeah.
gives some seeds to some things as well.
Yeah, so I'm just going to put in a big plug for getting someone local. If you're in the hospital, and you know this, Aileen, because I know you had a crisis last year, it's on your podcast, so I'm not revealing it.
Right. Nope.
But having someone who is local and can come in and do what you need done and can see you is really important.
Excellent. Michelle.
Eileen,
Hi.
so
Michelle is greeting us from Colorado.
oh yes, actually I met another nice woman from Colorado, and we're gonna keep in contact, so that's nice. But I was talking with her about some missionary work I do on solo aging. I have I live in Broomfield, which is a county that has lots of senior services. Last week they had a meeting for seniors to come in about aging in place and the economics of it. When I went in, I found everything was addressed to people who who don't meet who meet income requirements for help. And there's nothing wrong with that, because everybody doesn't have a life where they can save for
Right.
retirement, and you can't see what's coming at you a lot of the time.
So we went through all that, and at the end, they had time for a question, and I put my hand up and I said, "You know, with the 20 to 25% of the aging population aging solo, it might be a time to do something about that." I said, "There is a great need for every single service that you provide. I guarantee you. But one of the things that we lose sleep over is who's going to be our emergency contact, who's going to be our medical power of attorney and financial power of attorney." And
Yeah.
they were pretty dang clueless about the whole thing. So actually, I'm going to go in and work with some of them to see if we can do something. I'm going to see if they'll set up an solo group with the seniors in our county, because that way, if we get to know somebody, it does take a while to find somebody who could be a power of
Of
attorney, because you
course.
got to trust them really well. But maybe if we could do that, maybe we could find people like that among us, and that would be that would relieve a lot of angst for people.
I think that's fantastic. One of the things that I am working on is having people being aware of and utilizing inclusive language on websites and presentations and marketing paraphernalia. Everything is not for your family or you or your loved ones. And I have a placeholder on my website right now for professionals to really start thinking about solo aware language. And I have an audit that I've put together for folks. It's basic, it's not anything developed in any office departments of academia. But if that would be helpful in your conversation with the Colorado folks, I'm happy to send that along.
It might be. One other part of my missionary work is every year there are a couple of senior expos where all the vendors who support seniors are all in one room. And what I do is I go around the room talking to them about people who are aging solo. And it's like this. It's really quite interesting. But I've been doing it now for several years. It's getting a little better, but not very much. Change takes a long time.
It sure
And
does.
we in this group don't have time to wait for that.
Very true.
So one of the things that I'm doing is that I go to those senior communities and I go to the solo expert, and I'm building a local database of all the professional people that work in the senior communities that now want to work with solo agers. Because as soon as I talk about solo agers, they're like, "What a great idea. This is fantastic. I want to get involved." And people are coming to me, and I'm building this database that will allow solo agents in the community, if they need to find attorneys that do what the work you're talking about, or if they need to have work done in their home, or if they need to find out where there's some socialization for if they want to meet somebody or whatever, and building a community that way through professionals as well as businesses, so that we can all get something going that'll be really powerful, so people aren't isolated and they don't, they move forward.
That's a really great idea, Andrew.
But I love
Um,
senior events. Many times I've been a participant in those too, but I find it's better to just do what you do and go around and talk to people.
So the whole idea behind programs that I offer is for folks to learn from and with each other. I'm just a conduit to making that happen, and that's a great example. If there are folks that you're connecting with or things you're hearing about, reach out to people and chat. I can only provide contact information if both parties have approved of that. I can't and won't ever give out anyone's contact information without their authorization. You're welcome to take that opportunity now through chat. You're also welcome to write to me directly, and I can write to the individual as well. Michelle, can I shift to Doreen, who's waiting patiently?
Absolutely.
Great. Doreen.
Hi. We had a rousing group of folks from California, a lot of participation and a lot of chatting and sharing of resources and concerns. And just in keeping with what we're all talking about is we did have issues that we need help with as we age. And then we popcorned the ideas of what we were doing to try to resolve that, and doing things like meetups and going to different groups and trying to find a sense of community. So our mosaic word was community or dependable backup or networking, and that we would come up with these groups where you get to know each other, where you can see if you connect with somebody, and then you spin off into a little group of 2 or 3 that might be geographically close to each other that could say, hey, I can take you to that colonoscopy, or I can bring you lunch if you are just getting out of the hospital, or something like that. So we shared ideas, and just that this is a growing movement. I think more and more people are aging solo, and that this is really needed. And that I've worked in the space of in cancer support of people who are doing cancer without support. And that this solo idea is spreading among different groups that I belong to, where they're creating specific support groups for this very purpose. So I have shared this information in those groups because I think that's the idea, is we just keep sharing our resources, and then we find that sense of supportive community that we can build trust with, and have people that we can refer, professionals that might be able to assist us with some of these various needs that we have. So really enjoyed talking to the folks from California today.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for being their facilitator and volunteering for that. The folks from Western Mass who are doing an in-person viewing party. Great.
Hey, oh, got it. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. We have a few people here from a solo aging group that meets every month. And we've been meeting since last January of 2025. And Aileen, I have to say, you're part of getting that started along the way and the whole evolution of it, along with lots of folks from Northampton neighbor. But some of the things that we came up with your questions were, one person felt really good about taking a leadership role, joining this group of solo agers, and participating in a second small group of solo agers in his neighborhood. Another person felt very lucky to have the resources that we have in our town to the senior center and the solo aging and the Northampton neighbors group. And it's going to take a computer training to help a family member who lives way across the country that is a solo ager. Another person has researched and planned for future housing, and it took 1.5 years to do that. After 1.5 years of planning, she has made a decision about where she's going to live. She's been doing her future planning successfully, feels pretty good about that. People have been researching solo aging and have prioritized connecting with people in their new town. One person has moved to a new town and wants to start a solo ager group in that town. And her win will be to start a new group in her town.
Fantastic.
That's our report.
That's outstanding. Each one of these report outs have been so great and inspiring and empowering. So thank you for those really great conversations. Any other groups who haven't, you don't have to report out at all. You're welcome to not. But if there was anything you wanted to contribute to the conversation before I have us do an exercise in chat, feel free to do so now. Okay, so the theme for this year's Savvy Day, which you may or may not have noticed, is thrive, belong, plan, and advocate. So what I thought we could do is, of those 4 words, thrive, belong, plan, or advocate, is there a particular theme that came out of your discussion, or a particular theme that you're thinking about as part of this larger program that you would identify with? If so, we're going to type them in chat. Don't hit enter, because we're going to all hit enter together and see the words, kind of called a chat waterfall. I didn't make it up, I promise you. So the words are thrive, belong, plan, advocate. You're welcome to use more than one of them. And I will give folks, it is 4 past the hour. I will give folks till 6 past the hour, so 2 minutes. Type in the word, and then we will all hit enter together if you have access to chat. I feel like there should be Jeopardy music. Fantastic. Nice. Fabulous. I enjoyed that. Hopefully you did too. We are fortunate, as I said, to have a number of proud ambassadors and community partners partnering with us for this event. Is completely free. It's just an opportunity to have tools provided so that you can either turnkey programming or initiatives you want, or know that you're part of a larger community for organizations and businesses. It's a nice way for clients, customers, community members to know you actually see them. And so I know there are a few community partners on this evening. Jay, Nancy, Sarah. Nancy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'd be glad to. I'm Nancy Ruffner. I'm a patient advocate. I work online to help people to navigate what I call our wacky healthcare system. A lot of it is planning, a lot of it is talking about your specific situation. It's building a team, because team and community are key for us solo agers. Along with being a patient advocate, I had an agency in North Carolina for 12 years or so. And I've been working online for the last couple of years, coaching people by way of Zoom or phone. I love to speak and teach. I'm pleased to be here. I support everything that Aileen has done. What she's done is nothing short of amazing, is a gift to all of us. And please tell a friend.
Thank you, Nancy. Sarah, are you still on? Yes, you're right there. Go ahead, Sarah. Feel
Hi,
free to
good
introduce
morning.
yourself.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Feinberg. I'm a social worker in New York. I work for the Entertainment Community Fund and formerly the Actors Fund. We have a host of programs and social services for people who are aging in place in a very strange, unstable career, moving from gig work where you don't have a 401k, maybe you're traveling and you don't have that white picket fence kind of lifestyle. So I've been really very lucky to get to spend time with some great solos who taught me so much about the community. And I am just a staunch advocate. I think it's so important that everyone have their voice heard and that we make structural changes so that this can be the start of a bright new future for everyone who's choosing to age on their own or just as our family systems change. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Thanks for that. Do you want to say anything about the soloist, the senior soloist group?
Sure, yes. I run a support group called Senior Soloist. We got that little music pun in there. And we spend an hour a week talking about these issues and the intersectionality between being an entertainment person and aging alone.
Fantastic. I'm glad we've connected, and I think it's so important what you're doing, what Nancy's doing. And Jay, you are, I think, last, but certainly not least.
My name's at the end of the alphabet, so I'm used to being last.
Ah.
So you grow up in school and
That wasn't
basically,
intentional.
I'm the founder of Child Free Wealth and Child Free Trust. At Child Free Wealth, we do financial planning, specifically when people don't have kids. And at Child Free Trust, we're the first nationwide solution to be medical power attorney, financial power attorney, executor trustee. So we're tackling that problem. Our solutions don't always work for everybody, but we're trying to figure out how to fill those gaps that we keep identifying as a group.
Jay, what parts of the U.S. does your group work in?
The entire United States.
Whoa.
Yeah. So Jay's been working on the Child Free Trust for a while. He just dropped the link in chat. As part of your Savvy Day commitment, you offered some free half-an-hour consultations or 15-minute consultations today.
I think we had 15 people through today. It was pretty cool to talk to solo agers and try to help them on their finances.
And so they did that last year as well. They offer some workshops and other things. They have a podcast, all that good stuff. Jay's been a great partner. If you're somebody who's looking for some solutions, exploring child-free trust, like Jay said, it may not be the right fit for everyone, but it is certainly advancing the need because, as I said this morning on the program I was fortunate to offer with DeRoot, unless you are in California or Arizona, and only those two states in the entire country, and that includes territories as well. Those two states, you can hire a fiduciary. The other 48 and all the territories, you cannot, meaning that if you are able to hire a fiduciary, you are able to have someone on your team. You've hired them for the whole time you're looking to plan, which is the rest of your life, and to make changes to get to know someone and to foster a relationship. If you ever want to get me on a fun soapbox, you can ask me about my fiduciary envy. It's a great time. So hopefully other states will take notice. Hasn't happened yet, but we're hoping that Jay's innovative work with the Child Free Trust will at least remind people need things all across the country. And if they don't exist, we're going to create them. So are there any other?
Can I add one thing?
Sure.
So there's a group called the Live Coalition that is lobbying state governments to improve the estate planning services. And we've actually just gotten them to add a qualification for non-traditional families. And how do we make sure that is part of the understanding with the states? So, for example, how do we actually allow the power of attorney language to embrace fiduciaries and others? So they are part of a lobbying effort. It'll probably take us decades,
Generations,
to get there, but there is a group working on it.
Well, great. That at least gives us some hope, right? Any other comments before we wrap up? I moved our table talk on solo travel until June 2nd, Tuesday night, June 2nd. So you are welcome to register for that and join us. That will be recorded as well. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? We will say good night, good afternoon, whatever part of the day you are in. And hopefully see you something soon. The actual solo aging survey, which can be found, it's navigatingsolo.com/survey, and it's open until next Wednesday because I figured I'd have occasion to discuss and reach some solo agers that on Savvy Day. With that, thank you for spending the time. Thank you to our proud ambassadors, our community partners, our everyday awesome solos. It doesn't matter what the category is. Hopefully this was an opportunity to engage with others, maybe make some connections, and hopefully be able to foster those from there. You can always write to me at info@navigatingsolo.com. I will tell you I'm a one-person shop right now. So if you get flustered that I haven't written you back, it's not personal. It's literally, I'm human. It's not a good excuse, but it is a very honest and real excuse. So again, hydrate, stretch if you've been doing programs all day or just sitting for this one, and hopefully we will all see each other again soon. Thanks.